Good morning. Welcome to the Interwatch here, August 1st, 2017. We have several individuals with us today for our Interwatch to discuss an investigation that the Wichita Police Department has been working on in conjunction with other departments. So today I have Chief Gordon Ramsey here, also District Attorney Mark Bennett, and Sheriff Jeff Easter have come to speak today in reference to this investigation. So I'll pass it on to them. Chief?
Morning. I'm going to talk about the gambling investigation that has been going on for more than a year. The Wichita Police Department has been investigating illegal gambling machines at various locations throughout the city. And it has been a partnership with the Kansas Racing and Gaming Commission as well as the 18th Judicial District Office of the District Attorney. This investigation has involved a lot of personnel and time and has led to 14 search warrants that were served on multiple businesses last Thursday, July 29th. Out of that, 4 arrests were made. 2 arrests were made for gambling, and 2 arrests were made for unrelated warrants. 284 gambling machines were seized as evidence, which brings our number of machines seized as evidence to over 500 in the last year. So why does this investigation matter from a community perspective? Well, I think most importantly, from a community perspective, crime is location-based, and we see a lot of crime around these locations. Keep in mind that oftentimes there is an attractive nuisance that brings crime into an area, and for example, in these 10 involved establishments, hundreds of crimes were reported in the immediate area over the last year. Additionally, information has been obtained of armed robberies, burglaries, and vandalism occurring at these locations that were never reported to police due to fear of us learning about the illegal activities occurring inside. So a lot of crime is going around these places. Some we're notified about and some we're not. And again, we're not notified for fear of us finding out what's going on in these. So our proactive work helps reduce crime in the areas around these. We've already spoken with some of the neighboring businesses who have been very thankful for our efforts. And one solid example we can give, last September we had executed a search warrant at one of these locations in the 800 block of South Oliver, and over a year period there was 6 crimes reported at that business. They were for theft, vandalism, auto thefts, and robbery. Since that place shut down, we've only had 1 crime reported. That is since September of last year. That's just a little example of this. So crime is one area to be concerned about with these locations, and I think the district attorney is going to talk about others as well as the sheriff's going to say a few.
Chief. That's the big deal. Well, one of them, as the chief started off with, is the crime that emanates from these locations, and it has an impact not only on the neighborhoods, but also the business owners who are trying to run legitimate businesses in and around those areas, as well as the patrons who come to these places thinking they are gambling just like they could at Mulvane or Dodge City or one of the Indian casinos. They're not only the victims of crime in these locations, but we've also, I learned more about these machines than I ever wanted to know. One thing I was surprised to learn was regulated casinos must pay out at a certain clip, at a certain rate. And it's a lot higher than I expected it to be by state and federal regulation. It's upwards of 90% of the time somebody's getting paid something in a regulated casino. I was shocked to learn that. These machines can be manipulated, and what we're finding in the machines we're pulling out of these businesses, they have been. 40 to 60% is what they're paying out at. So you're not just spending your money just like you would at a casino if you're playing here. You are not, you don't have the same rate of return, the same chance that you would at a regulated casino. And so it's not the same, and that's another thing that I think that speaks to why this is a big deal. At the end of the day, the reason the sheriff and the chief and I are here, again, is not to talk about these specific cases, but let's be real clear about this. This is to sort of clear the air. I think people have gone to these, and maybe even a few business owners have put these in their stores thinking, well, they're 500 in different places around the city. They must be legal, otherwise they'd shut us down. Well, last Thursday they were shut down, and they're going to continue to be. And I don't want to speak for the sheriff, but he's here to make it clear that it doesn't matter if you're in the county or in the city. In this jurisdiction, and frankly across the state, these machines, which came straight out of casinos, let's not mince any words here. These are machines that we're talking about here that were in a casino at some place at some point, who, after they'd served their number of hours or number of pulls on the one-armed bandit, whatever it was, the casinos then sold them on the secondary market, and people bought them and put them in their stores. These are simply casino-level games. But these are illegal. They're illegal statewide. And while it's taken some time for us to do the investigation that we needed to necessary to bring these cases, moving forward, the message should be clear. Don't put these in your businesses, and don't go play these. If you want to gamble, go to a state-regulated or a federal-regulated casino. If you want to open a casino, apply for regulation and go open a real casino that's subject to regulation. But sticking into the back of a mom-and-pop store with these kind of machines is not going to be tolerated. So that's the message that we're here to get across to the citizenry today, and to the media, so you know what this is about. I'll defer to the sheriff if he's got any further comments, and at the end of this we'll answer any questions that we can.
Well, good morning. Mainly what I wanted to convey is, in the 5 years I've been in the office, we've had a couple of these type of reports where we've gone in and seized those machines. The fact of the matter is that these are not laws based upon city ordinance or county resolution. Sometimes what might be illegal in the city isn't illegal in the county, and vice versa. These are state law violations. So if individuals believe that because the Wichita Police Department has cracked down on these particular machines and they can just move them to the county, my message back is don't do it, because we'll be doing the same type of operations that the police department did, because these are state law violations and they're not allowed, and we will not allow them in the county either. So thank you.
Yeah, I'll open it up to questions. I've also had Stephanie Roberts that's here, and then after the question, she's going to answer a few things or make a few statements. She's from the South Central Kansas Problem Gambling Task Force, so she just has a few words. But I'll open it up for questions for the chief, the district attorney, or the sheriff.
Can you say whether these are bars, restaurants, gas stations?
Again, I'm not talking about, just to clarify, since we're not talking about specific cases here, I'll just say, as a general matter, they have been found over the last year in, I think, all three. Maybe not restaurants as much, but bars, smoke shops, I think what you'd probably refer to generally as convenience store type operations.
Are there fines? What's the punishment for this?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the circumstance. There can be fines. There's actually a gambling state criminal charge. You can be charged with operating a gambling operation.
Mark, the two people that are arrested, are these people that own the machines or own that restaurant?
Again, I'm going to be a little cagey on what I say about specific cases. This is more of a general commentary. As charges, as our office is making final determinations on charges, the normal routine will take place. If we charge somebody, you can apply for the affidavit and then get your information that way. But I won't talk about specific cases.
These machines, you said they come out of casinos, so a lot of times they get a ticket or whatever. Is that what these machines do? Is it physical cash that it's paying you, or is it private?
These machines are going to be, you go in, you get some sort of a receipt, go back to the cashier and cash out, get money.
And then people, innocent people who are maybe in there don't realize what the law is, who are playing these machines, are they held liable, or
You
guys
could
going
be.
after them?
At this point, nobody who is just simply in there playing them has been charged with a crime, and that's not the expectation. Now, at some point, if the message isn't getting across and these continue, I'll reassess that. But no, the point is, these are folks who think they're going to a casino and having the same chance that they would in a regulated casino, and they don't. They also would, I guess I would assume if I'm doing that I would assume I'll have the same level of safety. And you've already heard from the chief. They don't. There's hundreds of crimes being committed around these shops and these situations because they don't have. I mean, they're not making millions of dollars. They don't have enough private security the way Kansas Star and the Indian casinos would. So, yeah, those are the issues.
One more question?
Are there any more these places, establishments out there that you guys are continuing to investigate?
Well, I'd hope after tonight there aren't. We'll see.
All right, appreciate the District Attorney Mark Bennett, the Sheriff Jeff Easter, and Chief Ramsey coming to give us some information. We do have a couple of pictures on the back of some of these gambling devices. We also have some handouts, and I'll send them out electronically as well. Like I said earlier, I also invited Stephanie Roberts. She's from South Central Kansas Problem Gambling Task Force, and she's just going to say a few words about her organization and the work they do with gambling, and then she'd be open for probably a couple questions as well. So I'll let her have the floor.
Okay. I'm Stephanie Roberts. I'm the chairman of the South Central Kansas Problem Gambling Task Force. There are 4 task forces in the state of Kansas. Each surround the areas near the state-owned casinos. The South Central Task Force covers Sedgwick County and the 7 counties touching or bordering this county. Our mission is to increase awareness, provide treatment, education, and prevention activities in the community so that we can help the public become more aware of the risks associated with gambling. It can be a fun activity, but it's easy to get hooked, and our job and our task is to help those who find themselves in that position. So there are Kansas certified gambling counselors around the state who are qualified to provide that treatment when someone does get in trouble, and we refer them to the Kansas Problem Gambling Helpline, which is 1-800-522-4700. And that's the number we'd like to get out there. If someone feels like they have a gambling problem, we encourage them to call that helpline and let them know that they're seeking some counseling. And they will help connect them to the KCGCs or certified gambling counselors in their area.
Can you give that phone number one more time and also give us some stats? Have people actually been calling this number, and how helpful has this been?
Yes, people do call it, but part of our mission is to continue to increase that awareness, because the average person still isn't aware that that's available, even though there are brochures at the casinos. But the number is 1-800-522-4700. I think it's 1 in 9 gamblers in Kansas is determined to have at least a moderate gambling problem, so it's not uncommon to get hooked on these, especially the gambling machines. Those are probably the riskiest thing you can do besides perhaps the lottery. The potential for getting hooked is very high on slot machines. It's just the way they're engineered. So they use our neurology of our brain and intermittent reinforcement to encourage people to continue playing past the point that they really should be. Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
All right, we appreciate Stephanie coming and sharing with us as well. They also have a Facebook page, correct, Stephanie?
We have a Facebook page, and we have a web page. So
Okay, web page and Facebook page, so you
Yeah.
could find them on Facebook and or their website if you need some additional information. So we appreciate it. That's the information we have today. Have a safe day.